I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Very strong. Approval of the agenda.
President, I move that the board approve the February 13th, 2023 agenda.
Motion made and seconded. Next, we'll have the report of board members.
So other than attending the wonderful games with very competitive South, and then thank you so much. And then RHS, I want to actually acknowledge an accomplishment of one of our board members, Beth Plank. She has been invited to go to the KU Masters of Literature graduate program. If I'm saying it incorrectly, you got to help me out. And then she's also going to be a graduate teaching assistant. There are over 150 applicants that applied for this, and it's very prestigious. And so only 20 were accepted, and she is one of them. You can. Okay.
So we've had a pretty busy month. On January 17th, Tuesday, January 17th, I got to go to the Raytown Central Middle Scholar Bowl game that they did, which was really fun to watch. This is the first time watching one not as a parent, and so it's a lot easier to keep your mouth closed and not try to give the answers when it's not your kid sitting there trying to figure out who Derek Jeter is. So team A won, and then team B, they're still learning how Scholar Bowl works. So they had kind of a rough game, but it was their very first one. We had 6th graders on that team, so their first exposure. It was fun to watch that. Wednesday, January 18th, I went to Eastwood Hills for their Trauma Smart training. I've been doing that all year. So this was a really fun one because trauma training is not really fun, but it was a lot of like hands-on and how to help your students with their self-regulation techniques. And so it was kind of neat to listen to what our teachers already are doing, and new ideas that they liked and were able to take away from that. And so it's been kind of neat to go to each of those once a month and do that. Like Natalie, we were at the Raytown High versus Raytown South girls and boys basketball game on the 27th. I took a picture. My husband was sitting next to me and his Apple Watch buzzed, and I took a picture and it said, "Loud environment sound levels that hit 95 decibels. Just 10 minutes at this level can cause temporary hearing loss." So to say it was a jubilant game, it definitely was. It was fun to watch that. And we have some great basketball players, young men and young women on both sides of the district. They're going to do some good things. And then last Wednesday, I had the privilege of going with Dr. Martin Knox and Dr. Greiner, and then Kiana Dickerson and Terrence Frazier, who are our real world learning coordinators. Dr. Reichert was also there. And then we had 2 representative students from Raytown High and Raytown South. And so it was a community event. A lot of districts were there. I would say there were probably close to 500 people there. And so we just got to hear some stories from students around the community and about their internships, opportunities, and just ways that real world life learning is helping them to be prepared for the future. Mayor Lucas even spoke, and he touched on his experience as a teenager working in City Hall. And so with Mayor Barnes and kind of how that impacted him. So it was neat to see somebody who had that real world learning experience and then where they are today. So, and then also, I'm gonna brag on Natalie. Natalie won the Horace Mann, what is
It's a national award for one of the top educators in the country. It's
Yes.
called Horace Mann. So I'll be recognized there in May among the other educators that were nominated. And they actually do like a little short documentary on you. It's like a big gala event, and it's in Washington. So I'll be there in May to receive that honor.
So we are, we are very blessed to have her expertise on our board and in our community. So thank you.
Everybody.
All right. So thank you guys for the report of the board members, and congratulations to you both. And next. We'll have the report of the superintendent.
Well, good evening, Chairman Burton, Vice Chairman, Chairwoman Plank, members of the Raytown School District Board, and members of the Raytown community. Items 8.1 through 8.5 are for information purposes only. At this time, I would ask Mr. Michael Dean to come forward to provide a report on item 8.6, Raytown Schools Wellness Center update. Good evening, Mr. Dean.
My voice is a little hoarse.
What might that be?
You know, there's a couple of good reasons. See if I can get back here. Kevin, could we go to the first slide? Thank you. So to give you a report on the Wellness Center, we're going to go over a few items, just the history of the Wellness Center, the building itself, important intended data January over the past couple of years, and then there's pictures of new equipment that we've purchased to replace the old equipment that we've had since the building became the Wellness Center. Pictures of our pool area and the updated signage that was posted in there as well, and to give you an idea of what our class offering, our group fitness schedule looks like. Where the building resides right now was an old YMCA called RCG, which stood for Richard C. Green. He was a Raytown resident that gave the YMCA the land to put the building, to build the building. The YMCA opened its doors around roughly around 1999 till 2013, and then closed its doors. So when the school district took over, many changes were needed. Those changes included a catering kitchen, new carpeting, flooring, lighting. The pool deck was restored, as well as soundboards and panels, and the district's logo. The district also repurposed the daycare side of the building, which is now our care clinic. The clinic has whether it's doctor appointments, prescriptions filled, or a healthier source of living. In November of 2015, the building opened to staff only, just our teachers and retired teachers as well. And then in January of 2016, the building opened to the public. The Raytown residents waited for 2 years for something of their own again that was taken away from them, they felt. And so when the school district opened it up, you had an excited community ready building. So if we look at our numbers here, we're looking at January of 2022 versus 2023. If you look at the 2022 side, you'll notice that the number only goes to 1,000. And this is Sunday. This is the whole month of January. A lot of our people are early morning crowd. And then we go to our afternoon crowd, picks up people getting off work, classes as well. But the biggest thing that I want to show here is in January of this year, we had 8,445 check-ins at the Wellness Center versus last year having 4,680. So our numbers almost doubled this year alone before we even got new equipment to invite people in and without much advertising to the community. Next, we'll go to our attendance by age. I think this is very key. It talks about our community a lot. The biggest portion of the Wellness Center is our 55 and older community. They are active, which is a good for Raytown. We see a lot of them out in public. But when we look at that number, 3,500 of those are 61 and older coming to the Wellness Center this January, whereas last year it was right at 2,000, a little bit under 2,000. Right now, what we're working on is trying to improve our 26 to 60 range and build that up. But if you look at it's double its size basically as well. And then we'll look at financials. So on the left side was January, the calendar year for 2021 to 2022, where we look at $218,410, where we look at on the right side, what we did was take a snapshot of July 1 into present, and we're at 152,786. This last month, January, we made $22,849 compared to January of 22, $17,487. So it's all, you're looking at $5,000 more there. I just think our community is engaged more. They're ready to have a healthier lifestyle, and some of them are experiencing the gym for the first time. So it's great to see those numbers. We still have another 4 or 5 months left in our calendar financially, and what we're looking at is around 262,000, which would be a $44,000 jump for the Wellness Center this year. So now looking at our equipment, on the pictures you have here, they are from the left side is the old layout to where you had lanes. We now paired machines up so that it's more of a push-pull dynamic. You have different muscle groupings that pair better together. So we designed it that way. It also gave us more room and area for people. We have a few individuals who use our weight floor they use a wheelchair, and it helps them navigate better to have more open space, and it allows them to operate better up against the walls and use the sidewalk as well. This is a view from up top of those same machines. On the left side, again, is the old format, where you can see the walking lane is smaller there, but on the right side with the machines paired up, you can actually see it better that the walkway is a lot bigger and designed better. Next is our treadmill area. There were treadmills there, so don't want you to think that there's nothing there, but our custodian staff came over and gave a deep clean to the area. The machines that we had, our treadmills, have been there since the building opened. So since the end of 2015, so a 7-year span, those machines have been there. And we figured it would be a great time to upgrade at the beginning of the year. It's going to give some of our New Year's resolution crowd a reason to stay, and it's updated technology as well. So now our treadmill area on the left is the old version with those old machines that were there from 2015. And to now on the right side, what we have a new honeycomb technology in our treadmills that gives a softer bounce to the knees as well for those entering with knee problems. But we also have Stairmasters. Stairmasters have been a big thing in the fitness industry now. And so a lot of people have looked forward to those, and it's a great thing to have. They're used a lot. And then just another picture of that same from up top. And so we also updated our bike area as well. We have what's called a recumbent cross trainer, new step for people that have shoulder injuries and knee injuries as they go through the rehab process. This is our pool area, updated with logos for both high schools, the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. Great area. We host a lot of swim meets here for both our boys and our girls' high school swim teams. It's a great way for families to spend time during, not just during the summer, but throughout the school year, and take advantage of having an indoor facility. There's not many indoor facilities around the area that combine both lap and zero entry pools. So next is our class schedule. We started off back in 2015 having 7 classes that grew over time. But within the last year, we've been able to add 7 new classes. Our instructors are great. Our attendance rate for our instructors showing up is a lot better. Cancellation of classes, we actually just substitute with an instructor and let them run a different class that is similar in style to what we have going on. Are there any questions?
How do we acquire the instructors?
Say that again.
The instructors, how do we acquire them?
We have a job posting up that stays on our website. We also use Indeed as well to post about our availability and need for instructors.
So they're independent.
Yes.
So this is just a curious question. What happens to the old equipment? Are we able to sell that off and gain more funds? What happens there?
Great question. We actually ended up saving money by trading in the equipment to the company. So they took money off of what we purchased, which actually saved us $16,000. There are no other questions. Thank you for your time.
What is the cost of membership?
Cost of a membership, it depends. If you are 55 and older, it would be $26 a month. If you're from the age of 18 to 54, it would be $31 a month. Family 55 and above is $40 a month, and under 55 is $51 a month. You can cancel at any time. There's no strings attached with joining fees or cancellation fees as well.
Thank you.
And so, Mr. Dean, before you leave, I just want to publicly thank you and your team for the work that happens in our Wellness Center. I thought this was a presentation that was overdue, if you will, because we have a resource right here in our community and many people don't realize it, nor do we access it. And so I attended the Silver Sneakers training where they told me it was a club for 55 and up.
Yes.
I thought it was a joke, and not that it was a joke because I couldn't do it, but there was nothing silver or sneaker about the workout. Seriously. And so I convinced the team, we all went, we had a great time laughing at one another, but we were healthier when we left. I also attended a HIIT class that someone dragged me to. And as I have the running joke, I missed one of the I's in HIIT, and I was hit. But I would encourage you all to find time to go make sure we are maintaining our bodies, not just the physical, but the mental piece, and just accessing the resource that we have in our community and the upgrades that have now been placed in our wellness center. So just kudos to you, Michael, for the work that you do. Thank you. Item 8.7 under report of the superintendent, we have our amazing student representatives report. If you get ladies come forward.
Good evening, Dr. Martin Moss. Good evening, Board of Education.
Good evening.
There's a lot of people in here, so I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm Amaya Morgan, the student body president over at Raytown High School.
And I am Toshi Hekana, the secretary at Raytown High School.
Yeah, so there's a lot of dead time now that we're in the winter at Raytown, but we did have our Raytown versus Raytown South game that pumped up a lot of people, and we won. So, I'm just gonna say that we won. But
Out there.
coming up, there's a lot of things coming up. So we have our talent show coming up, which will be March 7th, 6 o'clock in the RHS auditorium. Everybody heard that. And that's coming up. We also have our blood drive happening next Thursday. And our last blood drive, we met like all the expectations. We filled all the spots. So hopefully we can do that again. But yeah.
Alrighty. And then obviously it's Black History Month, which we are very excited for at Raytown. And we are having our Black Student Union Showcase. So like everybody in our student body knows that the BSU Showcase is always one of the best assemblies of the year. So we're really excited to put it on, and we have a lot of exciting things planned, like our dancers, and also just having a lot of just community within that. And then we're also saying that we're trying to have the food service
Wait, that was a question.
Oh,
Go to
never
this
mind.
one.
Sorry. Okay. So then talking about Valentine's Day spirit, we're seeing that our National Honor Society is selling flowers and also a note. So basically you can buy a flower for $2 and a note, and then they'll deliver it to your classroom, which is really cute and really sweet. And then apparently Amaya has a question about food service.
So I saw that there was a food service job fair coming up. Dr. Martin Knox, if you would like to shed some light on that for me, please.
That was a personal conversation at lunch the other day, but yes, there is a post for food service workers. We are always looking for those that will help serve our children nutritious meals during the day. And the conversation that I had with our student council representatives is I would like to invest in them as long as they receive their food handling license, and we outline what their expectations are. We've had conversation, Dr. Calcara said he would make it happen. Look at his face. But that's how I felt when they just brought this up, but we did have this conversation. So I hope that's the information you two were looking for. If not, we'll talk later.
I gotta ask you a question. If I see it, I gotta ask because I need clarity. Thank you. But is there any questions for us?
Question. For the showcase, is that gonna be during the school day or is that an evening event?
Right. So we always do it during advisory on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. This year it's going to be happening on a Wednesday. So it's not a required assembly, but it's like an optional. So during lunch we have signups, and then you can go and sign up to go to the Black Student Union Showcase, and then you get a ticket, and then you show that ticket at the door, and then you're allowed in. And then that just runs through the entirety of the advisory. So it's only 43 minutes.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
And so the next item under this report of the superintendent is a very large congratulations and thank you as we begin the process of recognizing our school board. While school board recognition week is actually March 6th through the 12th, because our next meeting takes place after that, I didn't want the time to escape us without saying thank you to our amazing Raytown Quality School District school board members. As you can see in the front on our dais, we have several drawings and cards of appreciation from our amazing students, just showing their appreciation for our school board members. And we also have our amazing mayor who's with us this evening, Mayor McDonough, who is going to share a proclamation with our school board members. Mayor McDonough, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, Doc. It's always a pleasure for me to do this every year. I'm a product of the Raytown School District. I graduated from Raytown South High School in 1973, 50 years ago this spring. Hard to believe. I know a lot of you personally. I've gotten to know our new superintendent and looking forward to working with her, as I've always worked with the school district, both as a police officer when I was a police officer and also as the mayor for the last 8 years. I find our school district amazing. I think our teachers are amazing. Our students are amazing. The school board's amazing. Mr. Calcara and the rest of the staff, Dr. Moore, all the rest of the new people are just absolutely fantastic. And I couldn't be more proud as Dr. Knox and I have talked about many times, making sure that we all work together as a community. You use you used the word community a while ago, and it just made me remember that we have talked about that many times, because we are a community. We may be the city, you all may be the school board and school district, but we are all the community. And as mayor, that is one of the important parts of what this community is about, is having good education and people moving here and raising children here in a safe, good environment. I'm a little prejudiced because I have one of my sisters is a teacher and one of my daughters teaches for the Raytown School District. So anyway, I won't embarrass her by giving her name, but anyway, it is always my pleasure every year to give this proclamation. And I glad that you mentioned it to me so we could get this done before. Usually it's right during the beginning of that week, but this year it didn't fall that way. So I will now give the proclamation. And even though I'm a politician and you gave me a microphone, I'll be good and just stick with the proclamation. How's that? Whereas an excellent public education system is integral to the quality of life of the citizens in the Raytown community. And whereas the school board members offer outstanding leadership and demonstrate tireless, committed service to the patrons and children of the Raytown School District. And whereas our school board members provide a solid foundation for our school system, which is the structure through which our community's future leaders are produced. And whereas school board members are strong advocates for public education through their work to understand the needs of our schools, and they dutifully lead the way toward ensuring that those needs are met. Now, therefore, I, Michael McDonough, Mayor of the City of Raytown, do hereby proclaim the week of March 6th through the 12th, 2023 as School Board Appreciation Week. And I call upon all residents to join in this worthy observance in recognition of our Board of Education's essential role in ensuring the well-being and betterment of our community. The work they do to ensure the quality of our education system is of the utmost importance. Signed this 13th day of February in the year 2023, Michael McDonough, Mayor. And I guess I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I have somebody else in the room who graduated from Raytown South High School in 2008. And most people know my son, Ian. Raise your hand. There you go. He got a most excellent education here. And as you know, he's autistic. And he moved from Lee Summit School District to here, and what a difference. So thank you.
That concludes the report of the superintendent.
Presentations. Did you know?
Good evening, Board of Education and Dr. Martin Knox. A couple of happenings for highlights. First, West Ridge was excited to receive a surprise donation from a former student, which included supplies like notebooks, pens, crayons, markers, Play-Doh, and more. So we want to say thank you to Kevin Park for the surprise and welcome. Additional Great Kindness Challenge. Little Blue students and staff use each day to spread kindness throughout their school community. Each grade decorated their doors as part of the Kindness Challenge, and you can check out some of those doors on our social media. They were amazing, and I had the pleasure of judging as well, which was hard, but fun. Our February Ray of Hope honorees come to us from Eastwood Hills, and we have a video about why they are our Ray of Hope.
Hi, I'm Amanda Coleman. I'm the principal at Eastwood Hills Elementary. And this story is kind of about a little small but mighty story. Our PTA is a member of 4. So a small member of 4, yet together what they were able to accomplish is they were able to do a fundraiser through the school with our kids. It was a readathon that we had last year, and the proceeds from the readathon, we were able to purchase a book vending machine. We revealed that book vending machine to our students yesterday. We recognize students that move up reading levels every single week over Friday announcements. So now those kids are getting a token. They can go to the vending machine, make a purchase. We also decided that just as part of our school-wide positive behavior supports, there's a price, a value. You can purchase a token also with your Junior J Bucks. But it's just, it's really a complete community story. So we have 2 parents that are on our school board, Clay and Candace Taylor. So they are our parents, and then my music teacher, Jake Adamson, and my 4th grade teacher, Amber Nesniko Frankenfield. So that is my PTA board. And with the few of 4, we were able to rally the entire school for a readathon. We got pledge donations, and we were able to raise enough money to purchase this very expensive, very nice book vending machine. So it's just kind of one of those feel-good stories about the power of few to make a giant difference, to rally a community, and just it's just a nice ray of hope story.
So we would like to say thank you to Jake Adamson, Amber Nesniko Frankenfield, and Clay and Candace Taylor. Clay and Candace Taylor are here with us this evening, so we'd like to come up and say thank you. Ready? Awesome, thank you. Sorry. Congratulations. And we have one more recognition. We also want to recognize school board members, Miss Beth Plank, receiving a certificate of achievement from the Missouri School Boards Association for completing the board member refresher training. So congratulations to both of you.
Next, we'll have board committee reports. Any report? There will be no committee reports, I don't believe, today. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. There was a finance committee meeting today, and we will present that report next month.
Just wait for next month because I don't want to take up time to try to find it on my comments.
Okay, so no other reports. We'll move on to the adoption of the 23 2023-2024 academic calendar.
2024 academic calendar is presented.
Motion made and seconded.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So our spring conferences, are we, I don't see them on the calendar, but are they still going to be occurring in the same time frame as what we have now?
No. The new. Good evening, members of the board, Mr. President. The new proposal pushes those conferences back. February is a pretty early proposition, you know, when we're starting new city conferences back. It's been a point of conversation we've been having for a while. And so that you should see reflected on there in March. And so if you were looking for them in February, that's why you didn't see them, because we
Yeah.
pushed it back to March.
Thank you.
Other calendar questions? Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I do have one more question. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get your steps in. Mr. Michael Dean still here? No, okay. With pushing those conferences back, is that gonna affect like our high schoolers and middle schoolers and when they choose their classes? Like, is that gonna still give our teachers enough time? Just logistically, what does that look like?
So, you know, those course selections are something that we're usually used to doing in February at these spring conferences. I would say we still need to move forward with that process. I think we could get that course selection work done because again, we do need time for scheduling. So I would not anticipate pushing that part of the process back to March. And I think we would need to keep our timeframes for, again, course selection, working with parents. We would need to keep that consistent because again, we start scheduling before spring break. And so we would need to stay on that schedule more than likely.
Thank you. I'll wait for you to get back to your seat. and
Yeah,
that's my
wait till I
next
get over there
question.
next meeting.
Nice. I'm just kidding.
That'll be fine. We can go back to committee reports. Okay. You can go ahead.
In meeting minutes of January the 9th, 2023. In attendance is Bobby Salisbury, Terry Landis, Stanley, Johnson Berry, Knox, Terry Gibson, and Bob Taylor. The committee met and discussed the clarity and understanding policy GGB seeking staff conduct. We discussed how to address an individual who behaves in a manner that is deemed unprofessional if they were not at a school event. We discussed KL, public concerns or complaints, which states a response will be given within 24 to 48 hours, but no later than 5 business days. Based on Dr. Martin Knox's recommendation, the district response will be within 24 to 48 hours. The committee agreed. Reviewing our discipline policy, we will wait for administration to provide their recommendations. They are currently working with focus groups and should have a report to the committee by the end of the school year. We discussed training for staff intervening in funds. We have an individual in the district that will provide professional development to our interventions. We will continue to work within this area. In reference to restraint and seclusion, because we know that we have children that will need this, the district will continue to review its practice and make adjustments where needed. Dr. Pennell shared that she is taking groups to visit alternative schools in Belton, Center, and Independence. A group of teachers, a group of administrators, and district staff to look at how other districts serve their students. The meeting was very uplifting and informative. The committee feels that it is a good thing to review our policies to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our staff and students. We look forward to the district's recommendation from in the city. That's it, sir.
Thank you. Right. Back to the calendar. Take, vote. Yeah, I got it. All right, next we have selection of contractor for 2023 building upgrades.
Mr. President, I move the board approve Excel Construction for district building upgrades in the amount of $2,507,000 with a contingency of $250,200 for a total not to exceed $2,752,200.
Motion made and seconded is Josh. That's him right there. Hey, Josh.
Good evening, board, and Dr. Martin Knox. Sorry, got dry mouth. All of a sudden, I had to step out and grab a water bottle since I'm going to be up here for a second. First up on the docket is selection contract for 2023 building upgrades. That's a bond project that's been scheduled. Those renovations will include Robinson, Westridge, North Fleet, and Eastwood Hills.
What specifically are the upgrades?
They're flooring upgrades. We're doing some paint in some areas. We're doing removal of tile and some epoxy work. Some carpet in the media centers. They'll look very similar to what we did last year at Laurel Hills. What the elementary schools we do last year? North Fleet. So carpet, paint, and library media centers, and then the biggest impact you'll see when you walk in is the media centers, the doors, and the tile.
And this is part of the bond, the previous bond.
Correct.
And that we're finishing up this year. Is there any relation to the bond that we are election that's coming out? Does these projects have any effect on any of?
These are all pre-scheduled. When we went through and we did this exercise at the very beginning when the 2019 bond was coming out. These are all jobs and renovations that we're doing. We work with building principals and community members and stakeholders on to navigate through.
And so how's the order of our projects? How's that decided? And how does this affect what bonds we have coming up? Are we on schedule? Is it going as planned? Is it?
So everything's going as planned. We go through, we have a long-term needs assessment that's out that projects needs through 2032. It goes through and projects that. We work with Joe Kinder, who's our bond agent. He goes through and gives us bonding capabilities. What do we have right now? What do we have in 28 or 29? What do we have for next year? Based off those, we work backwards from the dollar amount that we have and then go through the needs assessment and evaluation of buildings, and obviously critical needs are met first, followed by more aesthetics.
Also, as part of the 2019 bond, the larger projects that were more expensive to prioritize first to help fight inflation. So some of these smaller projects, this is the last year that 2019 bond work was being completed. There's also some of the less expensive work that happened, which is why it was less.
Any other question?
Mike is dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And for some of the not all the projects that we do, of course, are bond projects, correct? There's some capital improvements that are.
We do some capital improvements. Those usually take place. I'll usually bring those to you in May or June. Then we'll usually start them in, excuse me, I usually bring those to you in May. We usually start them in June with July payment. Last year we did the track renovations was the biggest thing that we did.
Right. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, really, motion. Take a vote. Motion passes. Next, we have the selection of contractor for 2023 Raytown Middle School upgrades.
So we split that project out separate. We split that project out separate because there was a lot of work in that one particular building. We want to make sure we had the most competitive bids as possible. So we bid that as a standalone project. That includes a ton of epoxy work. If you'll go in and look at the school, you will see it has the old glass tile that is yellow. It includes going through an epoxy and all that, going through re-epoxying the bathrooms, going through removing all of the VCT tile in the building, come back with new VCT tile, has us going through with door replacements, has band and choir upgrades in those rooms as well. It'll be very similar to what we've done at Central this last year, and then what we did at South 3 years ago.
Mr. President, I move the board approve Excel Constructors for Raytown Middle School building upgrades in the amount of $1,506,000 with a contingency of $150,600 for a total not to exceed $1,656,600. I'm an English major. These numbers are hard on me.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. You did say these projects are, the bids are out under.
No,
but
no. We will not see a bid under budget for quite some time if I were predicting things. There's a bid to budget tab on there.
Okay.
You can click on and see those numbers.
This one too.
So, Mr. Burton, we've been very lucky with our projects over the last 4 years. Since the bond passed in 2019, we've had almost every project hit budget or below, which has created a bond surplus for the district to be able to complete other projects that were not previously on that list. We are now at that last year, and with record inflation over the last 2 years, it has finally caught up. So that is the number one reason why you're seeing some overage on those bids this year. But this is the first year that it is hit us like this. Last year we still came in on budget or under last year.
But we do have new estimates on these projects that we are bidding.
We just bid them out. So yes.
So I guess I want to know that you're adjusting for inflation as well before. We're
adjusting to the best. So there was 3 adjustments through there, but still, we still could not keep up with the projection of it. I was talking to Mr. Gibson about that coming into this meeting. I'm building a personal house right now too. I guarantee I want that budget to be on, and we're way off on that as well, just because a lot of times the numbers out the door, they're not giving you pricing to the contractor till like steel, for instance, till it moves out the door.
The other component that ties into that directly is labor shortage. A lot of the contractors that we typically work with in this district do not have the staff and the laborers to do the work, which is then causing them to select, what projects they're going to do this year with a limited workforce. So that's also impacting the projects.
So as far as the surplus in regards to the budget, are we going to be able to complete those projects that we have left without using up our surplus or within that budget?
Yeah, that's
what I meant by that.
So yes and no. We'll be going through, we're working on, Mr. Gibson has asked Sandy and I to come back with solid numbers for him on where we're at with that. So we're working on that and pulling all those numbers through to see where that surplus is gonna be.
Okay. So I guess prior to that, you'll present to us what our
I would think Mr. Gibson would bring that up through Finance Committee.
capital improvements committee.
Correct.
Yeah.
In that opportunity, I'll discuss the results of what they come back with, what the final surplus looks like. There should be a surplus, but not quite the previous at first because of the inflation.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we won't exceed even our
I
surplus.
think in total, we should be still coming.
Or what our considerations would be if we did.
Yeah, we'll come in within, the cost of the bond issue.
Right. Motion passes. All right, we have a selection for a contractor for middle school AV upgrades.
So this has been a long overdue need for the district. When I was a AP for Dr. Calcara at South Middle School, my first year there, we were Frankensteining those together, and that's been 9 years ago now. This started as a need that came through. Dr. Shelton went to a performance and saw the need. Dr. Martin Knox has continued to let me know that need is real. So we went through and got all of that out, is where that came from.
So you asked about the list of project needs from the previous bond. Originally, the middle school systems were going to be supplemented from the updated high school systems. That was the original plan. When the high school systems were upgraded, at that time, it was realized that the equipment that was at both of the high schools still wasn't modern enough or good enough to move. It just wouldn't be worth it to retrofit. So that particular part of the project was taken off, and that's where it allowed a little bit of extra funding to be able to fund this project.
So this is an additional project.
But it will allow standalone updated audiovisual systems for each middle school. They'll no longer need to share. They won't be pulling out projectors on carts, putting up screens on the stage that are held together with PVC pipe. It'll all be permanently installed.
Thank you very much.
All right. And a motion for this?
Mr. President, I move the board approve KCAV for middle school AV upgrades in the amount of $359,922.79 with a contingency of $35,992.28 for a total not to exceed $395,915.07.
Second.
What'd you say? Yeah.
I did better on that one. It's just because I really want that one. Not.
All right. Now we have selection of contracted mower.
So we had contracted mowers that I brought this to this board 2-3 years ago. We were in a year-by-year deal, just like is on here with an option. As Ms. Cochran just spoke about labor shortages, our former contractor, I think that's what got him. We just weren't able to keep up, weren't able to do a quality job, so we moved away from him and sent it out to bid again.
Somebody gotta help that out.
Mr. President, I move the board approve Grim Cuts for mowing for the district in the amount of $138,250 for the 2023 mowing season with an option of 1-year extensions for the next 4 years. If fuel exceeds $3.50 a gallon, contractor can come to the owner with a fuel increase.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I think that's it. Thank you. All right, we have RFP for seventh grade English language arts. Yeah.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve to request bids for new seventh grade English language arts curriculum for the 2023-2024 school year.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
I do have a question. Dr. Griner, can you talk me through the process just a little bit in terms of stakeholders who were involved in the selection of the materials? If there was any trial basis where it was used? Just a little bit on the logistics.
Sure. So good evening, board. The process of the RFP will allow us to solicit bids for vendors to provide services for us to consider. So we're considering options. And so that process will allow a committee that Dr. Cannon, our curriculum and instruction director, will oversee, and we'll certainly have teacher input. We'll visit classrooms that are piloting resources during that process. So we'll see students utilizing the resources in action. But again, it'll be heavily influenced by teacher input and presentations from the vendors. Sure.
All right, any other discussion? Thank you.
Ready for motion?
You gotta vote on this one.
Let's went to sleep on that.
All right, next we have a resolution to legislation of open enrollment.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Next, we have approval of consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the February 13th, 2023 consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right. Prior to voting on that, I'd like to read the donations we received this month. We received a donation of garden tools, wagon, seeds, gardening gloves, and knee pads worth $150 from Daughters of the American Revolution, Sagamore chapter to Robinson Elementary School. Donation of tools worth $5,500 from Vicky Bacchus to Herndon Career Center's Welding and Fabrication Program. Donation of knitted hats for children worth $200 from Betty Edmondson at Episcopal St. Matthew's to Robinson Elementary School. Donation of school supplies worth $700 from Kevin Park to West Ridge Elementary School. Donation of $200 from Kathy and Bob Mobley to the Herndon Career Center's Culinary Arts Program in remembrance of Denise Matroni. We have a donation of $200 from Gerald and Ann Verlinden to Herndon Career Center's Culinary Arts Program in remembrance of Denise Matroni. Donation of $5,000 from Raytown Three Trails Kiwanis Club to Raytown School District's Community Connections event. We have donation of trinkets for Junior J Store and items, crafts for Family Fun Night event of 200 guests to Eastwood Hills Elementary School. We have a donation of jeans, shoes, and socks worth $150 from Jim Martin to Herndon Career Center. We have a donation of Crayola, notebooks, backpacks, markers worth $200 from Hope Network to Robertson Elementary. And we have a donation of $1,500 for a courtyard student reading area from Heather Ford and Jules Snedden at Grand Canyon Education to Southwood Elementary School. We'd like to thank everyone for the donations, and we greatly appreciate it. I know the schools and the students and families will greatly appreciate all of that. Motion for adjourn.
Mr. President, I move that the board adjourn the regular Board of Education meeting at 7:57 PM.
Motion made and seconded.